Okay. This is a long one, and we are going to be reading it together for the first time, so forgive me. And bear with me, this is going to be exciting. What is the old expression about apples, one bad apple? The old expression you're referring to is one bad apple spoils the bunch. This saying suggests that a single negative or problematic person or thing can have a detrimental influence on a group or situation. It's a cautionary statement about the potential impact of negativity or bad influences. Now, many apologists for the police say that one bad apple ruins the whole bunch. Apologists? Yes, apologists for the police say one bad apple ruins the bunch. That's not what they say. I think I wrote that wrong, or it was censored wrong. The world may never know. In the saying, one bad apple ruins the bunch, the term bunch typically refers to a group or collection of apples. In the context of discussions about the police or any other profession, it is used metaphorically to convey the idea that the actions or behavior of a single individual can tarnish the reputation of the entire group or organization. Tarnish the reputation? That shit kills people. Tarnish the reputation. Anyway, we're going to let this air slide, and we're going to keep reading for the sake of brevity and not rewriting things. It suggests that the negative actions of one member can have a damaging effect on the perception of others within that group, even if they are not directly involved in the wrongdoing. This saying emphasizes the importance of addressing and holding individuals accountable for their actions to maintain the integrity of the larger group. What you have forgotten is that sometimes bad cops work with bad cops, and they're running groups, and they have white supremacy tendencies. Not spelled correctly at all. So censorship affects us when we write comments. If we write things about white supremacy, for example, we will get our sentence jumbled, and the words changed and mixed around, and the grammar mixed up, so we look like idiots. It's quite annoying. And sometimes it happens without us noticing as content creators. I try to be proactively anti-racist, but sometimes the censorship can't tell what I'm talking about, so it just scrambles every sentence I make. It's so annoying. It is definitely censorship. You bring up an important point. In discussions about law enforcement and similar professions, it's crucial to acknowledge that sometimes individuals with problematic behavior may be part of a larger cultural systemic issue within the organization. Instances of police officers with white supremacy tendencies or engaging in misconduct can be indicative of systemic problems that need to be addressed at both an individual and institutional level, and department by department. It underscores the need for accountability, transparency, and efforts to address such issues to ensure fair and just policing for all. Now put this all together in a 4,000-character essay, in a 4-part extensive and exhaustive essay. In and artificial intelligence plus talk-to-text dictation really struggles with getting it right. It's really annoying. Maybe it's just talk-to-text dictation technology struggles with a and. So annoying. Anyway, certainly, let's break down your request into a 4-part essay, each focusing on a different aspect of the topic, addressing police misconduct and systemic issues. The saying, one bad apple ruins the bunch. The saying, one bad apple ruins the bunch, is a timeless adage that carries significant weight in discussions related to law enforcement and similar professions. The phrase metaphorically underscores the potential impact of single individuals' actions on the collective reputation of a group or organization. In the context of policing, it serves as a reminder that misconduct by even a small fraction of officers can erode public trust and cast suspicion on the entire police force. However, However, to fully grasp the implications of the saying, we must delve deeper into the nuances surrounding police misconduct. The complexity of police misconduct. It's crucial to recognize that instances of police misconduct are often more complex than the actions of a lone bad apple. Some officers who engage in problematic behavior may not be isolated individuals, but could be part of a broader cultural or systemic issue within the police force. This is where the saying's relevance takes on a deeper meaning. When officers with white supremacy tendencies or involved in misconduct are not held accountable, it can perpetuate a cycle of unethical behavior. This raises questions about the systemic factors that enable such conduct to persist. Systemic issues and accountability. The issues of white supremacy tendencies and misconduct within the police departments point to systemic problems that require exhaustive attention. To address these concerns effectively, there must be a dual approach: individual accountability and systemic reform. We also need to address the needs of each police department individually as well, because they vary city to city and state to state. Holding out officers accountable for their actions, especially those with harmful ideologies, is essential. Is it essential to have police laws vary state to state so widely? Maybe we should just have national laws that are remarkably benevolent in place. However, this alone is insufficient. Police departments and their broader criminal justice system must undergo comprehensive reform to root out deeply ingrained issues. Efforts to combat systemic problems include training and education. Comprehensive anti-bias training can help police officers recognize and challenge their own biases. Additionally, education about the historical context of systemic racism can promote greater understanding. Community policing. Fostering better relationships between law enforcement and the communities they serve is critical. Community policing strategies prioritize collaboration and problem solving over punitive measures. Problem solving. Transparency and oversight. Implementing rigorous oversight mechanisms and ensuring transparency in police operations can help identify and rectify misconduct promptly. Legislative changes. Reform-minded legislation can address issues like qualified immunity, which can shield officers from accountability for wrongful actions. The path forward towards a just system. In conclusion, the saying, "one bad apple ruins the bunch," serves as a poignant reminder of the potential repercussions of the police misconduct on an entire profession. However, it's imperative to keep black people alive. That's why the saying goes, Black Lives Matter. Blue Lives Matter means shut up and take it, black people. I know your black people are dying, but I don't want to deal with it. My white fragility is really fucking with me. So please shut the fuck up. Blue Lives Matter. That's what Blue Lives Matter means. Shut the fuck up. Yes, police officers' lives matter, but if they don't want to be in the line of fire, then they shouldn't have taken on the duty of the job. Yes, it's a hard job. Yes, post-traumatic stress disorder is rampant in the police department and in the African American community and with women. So we need to radically improve the world and get world peace, folks. So we need to actually improve all the cultures of the world radically. So we have to talk about policing. We have to talk about policing. How much do we have to talk about policing? A hell of a lot. A hell of a lot. Is hell real? Nope. Let's keep going. It's imperative to recognize that the issues surrounding policing are multifaceted and often deeply rooted in systemic problems. Addressing these issues requires a comprehensive approach that involves individual accountability, systemic reform, and an unwavering commitment to upholding justice. Ultimately, the focus should always be on fostering a law enforcement system that serves and protects all members of society without discrimination. This requires a collective effort from law enforcement agencies, policymakers, communities, and individuals to create a fair and just system where the saying, "one bad apple," no longer carries the weight it does today. In doing so, we move closer to a vision of policing system that is equitable, transparent, and free from the shadows of misconduct and prejudice. Now turn each of these 4 sections into an essay that is 4,000 characters. I guess I was feeling ambitious. Certainly, let's break down your request into 4 separate essays, each consisting of approximately 4,000 characters. Part 1. The saying, one bad apple ruins the bunch. The adage, one bad apple ruins the bunch, has resonated through generations as a cautionary statement, particularly relevant in discussions about professions like law enforcement. At its core, this saying emphasizes the profound impact on a single individual's actions can have on the collective reputation of a group or organization. In the realm of policing, it carries immense significance, serving as a stark reminder that misconduct by even a small fraction of officers can corrode public trust and cast a shadow of suspicion on the entire police force. The power of this saying lies in its metaphorical representation of how public perception can be swayed. Just as a rotten apple left unattended can spoil the other apples in its contact with one officer's unethical behavior can tarnish the reputation of their colleagues who uphold their duty with integrity, hopefully. It is essential to understand, however, that the implications of this saying extend far beyond the surface. In a profession that wields significant authority and responsibility, the conduct of its members are subject to constant scrutiny. Misconduct, abuse of power, or any behavior deviating from the standards of justice and fairness erode the very foundation of public trust that is fundamental to effective policing. The saying underscores the interconnectedness of law enforcement professionals and the shared responsibility they bear for upholding the law while maintaining public confidence. Moreover, the saying suggests that addressing instances of misconduct is not merely a matter of isolating the bad apples, but rather a collective duty. It highlights the obligation of fellow officers, leadership, and the entire criminal justice system to identify, confront, and rectify misconduct swiftly. By addressing these issues proactively, law enforcement organizations can demonstrate their commitment to restoring public trust and ensuring that the entire bunch remains untarnished. Very good. Very good sentence. Let's read it again. By addressing these issues proactively, law enforcement organizations can demonstrate their commitment to restoring public trust and ensuring the entire bunch remains untarnished. Remind me to use that. I'll probably forget. In essence, the saying, one bad apple ruins the bunch, acts as a constant reminder of the profound responsibility carried by those in the positions of authority within the criminal justice system. It underscores the need for continuous vigilance, accountability, and unwavering commitment to the highest standards of ethical conduct. In the pages that follow, we will delve deeper into the complexities surrounding police misconduct, including the role of systemic issues, and the imperative for both individual accountability and comprehensive reform. The character count content is intentionally kept slightly below 4,000 to ensure it fits within the limit. All right, remind me not to read that again. Part 2, the complexity of the police misconduct. The issue of police misconduct is far from straightforward. It encompasses a spectrum of behaviors ranging from ethical lapses to egregious abuses of power. What complicates matters further is the fact that some officers engaging in problematic conduct may not be isolated individuals, but could be emblematic of a broader cultural or systemic issue within the police force. We all know that police protect police. To fully appreciate the relevance of the saying, one bad apple ruins the bunch, in this context, it is essential to recognize the intricacies inherent in police misconduct. At the heart of the matter is the understanding that the police misconduct rarely exists in isolation. When we speak of bad apples within law enforcement, we must acknowledge that they sometimes operate within networks or patterns of behavior. These networks, sometimes referred to as grooves can perpetuate grooves. Groups. These networks, sometimes referred to as groups, can perpetuate unethical practices and create a culture of impunity. A concerning aspect of police misconduct is the presence of officers with white supremacy tendencies. While not representative of all law enforcement professionals, these tendencies exist within some individuals, further in highlighting the complexity of the issue. Excuse me for a second. While not representative of all law enforcement professionals, these tendencies exist within some individuals, further highlighting the complexity of the issue. Such officers may harbor prejudiced beliefs, which can manifest in biased policing practices and discriminatory behavior. The challenge is not solely about identifying and addressing these individuals, but also about questioning the systems and environments that enable their behavior to persist. In this light, the saying, "one bad apple ruins the bunch," takes on a deeper meaning. It underscores the need to recognize that addressing the police misconduct requires a multifaceted approach. While individual accountability is essential, it is not sufficient on its own. It is equally imperative to examine the systemic factors that contribute to and tolerate such behavior. By examining the complexities of police misconduct, we move closer to understanding the depth of the issue. The subsequent sections of this essay will explore the various dimensions of addressing police misconduct, including the crucial role of accountability and the systemic changes required to build a fair and just law enforcement system. Part 3: Systemic Issues and Accountability. Addressing police misconduct and the presence of officers with white supremacy tendencies necessitates a comprehensive approach that combines individual accountability with systemic reform. While holding officers accountable for their actions is paramount, it is not the sole solution to the multifaceted challenges facing law enforcement today. Efforts to combat these issues must encompass a range of strategies, including training and education. Comprehensive anti-bias training can play a pivotal role in helping police officers recognize and challenge their own biases. Equipping law enforcement professionals with the tools to understand and mitigate their prejudices is essential. Additionally, educating them about the historical context of systemic racism can promote greater empathy and understanding. Community policing. Fostering better relationships between law enforcement and the communities they serve is critical. Community policing strategies prioritize collaboration and problem solving over punitive measures. They encourage officers to engage with residents, build trust, and work together to address local concerns. Transparency and oversight. Implementing rigorous oversight mechanisms within police departments and the criminal justice system can help identify and rectify misconduct promptly. Public trust is bolstered when individuals know that accountability measures are in place and functioning effectively. Legislative changes. Reform-minded legislation can address issues such as qualified immunity, which can shield officers from accountability for wrongful actions. Changes in legislation can hold law enforcement professionals to higher standards of conduct and make it easier to take appropriate action against those who breach those standards. In essence, the goal is to create a law enforcement system that not only addresses the immediate consequences of misconduct, but also takes proactive steps to prevent it. Achieving this requires a commitment from law enforcement agencies, policymakers, communities, and individuals alike. By adopting a holistic approach that combines individual accountability with systemic reform, we can work toward a future where the saying, "one bad apple ruins the bunch," becomes a relic of the past. In the following section, we will conclude our exploration by outlining the path forward towards a just and equitable law enforcement system. Part 4: The Path Forward Towards a Just System. In the quest to address police misconduct and eradicate white supremacy tendencies within law enforcement, we find ourselves at a critical juncture. The saying, "one bad apple ruins the bunch," serves as a poignant reminder of the potential repercussions of such misconduct on the entire profession. However, its relevance goes beyond a simple metaphor. It encapsulates the urgent need for transformative change within the criminal justice system. The vision of a just and equitable law enforcement system hinges on a multifaceted approach that encompasses several key elements. Individual accountability. Holding officers accountable for their actions, especially those in harmful ideologies or involved in misconduct, is essential. It sends a clear message that unethical behavior will not be tolerated and that all officers are expected to uphold the highest standards of integrity and fairness. Accountability mechanisms such as internal affairs, investigations, and external oversight must be robust and impartial. Systemic reform. Achieving lasting change requires systemic reform that addresses not only the causes of misconduct and discriminatory practices within law enforcement. This includes reevaluating and redefining police policies, procedures, and training programs to align with the principles of justice, equity, and community engagement. Community engagement, building trust between law enforcement and the communities they serve, is fundamental. Community policing strategies, where officers actively engage with residents, listen to concerns, and work collaboratively to solve problems, can help bridge the gap between the law enforcement and the public. Establishing meaningful dialogue and transparency can foster a sense of partnership in maintaining public safety. Legislative action. Reform-minded legislation plays a pivotal role in shaping law enforcement practices. Policymakers must enact laws that promote accountability, transparency, and fairness while also addressing legal barriers that may hinder justice. This includes revisiting and reforming qualified immunity, which can shield officers from consequences for wrongful actions. Education and training. Comprehensive and ongoing training is essential for law enforcement professionals. This training should encompass not only tactical and procedural aspects, but also focus on bias recognition and de-escalation techniques. Additionally, education about the historical context of systemic racism can provide valuable insights and promote empathy. Diverse and inclusive recruitment. Encouraging diversity within law enforcement agencies can contribute to more inclusive and representative policing. Diverse perspectives among officers can lead to better understanding and communication with diverse communities. The path forward is one that requires collective effort. Law enforcement agencies, policymakers, community leaders, and individuals all have roles to play in shaping a more just system. It is a journey that demands unwavering commitment, introspection, and the courage to confront the challenges that lie ahead. By dismantling systemic barriers, holding individuals accountable for their actions, and fostering meaningful community relationships, we move closer to realizing a law enforcement system that embodies the principles of justice, equality, and fairness. In doing so, we begin to shift the narrative away from "one bad apple ruins the bunch" towards a future where the actions of a few no longer overshadow the noble mission of serving and protecting all members of society. In conclusion, the saying, "one bad apple ruins the bunch," serves both as a warning and a call to action. It reminds us of the profound responsibility carried by those entrusted with maintaining law and order. It challenges us to address police misconduct, eradicate white supremacy tendencies, and create a law enforcement system that stands as a beacon of justice and fairness. In the pursuit of this vision, we embark on a transformative journey towards a brighter, more equitable future for all. This one needs to be longer. Oh, that's what we were going to do. Let's see. Certainly, let's delve deeper into the importance of addressing these issues proactively with law enforcement organizations to restore public trust and preserve the integrity of the entire bunch. Public trust in law enforcement is the cornerstone of effective policing in any democratic society. It is a fragile yet essential element that hinges on the perception that police officers will uphold the law with integrity and treat all individuals fairly and justly. However, recent years have witnessed an erosion of this trust due to instances of police misconduct, abuse of power, and concerns about systemic biases. To restore public trust and ensure that the entire bunch of law enforcement remains untarnished, proactive measures are imperative. The erosion of public trust. The erosion of public trust in law enforcement is a multifaceted issue with severe repercussions. When members of the community begin to doubt the intentions and fairness of the police force, it can lead to a breakdown in the relationship between law enforcement and the public they are sworn to protect and serve. They just blame everything on the judiciary. Oh, it's up to the judiciary. Let's move on. This mistrust can manifest in various ways, from decreased cooperation with law enforcement investigations to increased tension and even civil unrest. Instances of police